The Super Bowl is over and we know the draft order for the first round, and it's time for a new round of mock drafts. We are still less than 3 weeks away from the NFL Scouting Combine and 11 weeks away from the start of the NFL Draft. Most people have the Redskins taking a QB this year, and some even have them trading up for one. Alex Smith is likely to miss the 2019 season, and is possibly done playing in the NFL. Don't tell Bruce Allen that, he'll deny anything. This is arguably a weak class for QBs, especially if you are picking in the middle of the first round. There are several potentially QB-needy teams ahead of the Redskins this year: Giants, Jaguars, Broncos, Raiders, Dolphins, which could cause a QB run on this year's Ponder, Locker, Gabbert collection of QBs. It's flying season and there are plenty of rumors flying around about which QBs Washington likes. Should the Redskins draft a QB in the first round? Should they even consider trading up for any of this year's QBs? Which non-QB will help the Redskins most this year? Kyler Murray, QB, Oklahoma SB Nation. There are conflicting reports on Alex Smith's future football after his gruesome injury last season. If there is doubt, Washington should not hesitate to select Murray if he's available with the 15th pick. Round 2, Deontay Thompson, Alabama. After a big splash in the first round in Murray, Washington could play it a little safe in the second round and fill a need. Thompson has excellent coverage skills and could start in Washington as a rookie. USA Today: with Alex Smith's status for 2019 still unclear after multiple surgeries to take care of a broken leg, Washington could find itself in a bind this offseason as the team ponders both its short and long-term plans. Murray's future is similarly uncertain as he continues to weigh pursuing football over baseball, but he might be the Redskins' ticket to pushing through to a new era rather than being mired in quarterback purgatory. Baltimore Sun: for as long as he's open to playing football, Murray will be the draft's biggest fascination. The diminutive Heisman Trophy winner could go in the top 5 or fall out of the first round. The Redskins have just as big an unknown under center. Will Alex Smith be ready to play at any point next season? And will his broken leg and post-operative infections forever limit his potential as a dual threat quarterback? Pro Football Focus: trade up to. It's time to think about a rebuild in Washington. CBS Sports: Trapasso, trade, Yaol. Last week, I presented the prudent decision for the Redskins: stay put and snag Locke at 15. Here, with Locke and Haskins gone, the Redskins get antsy and move into the top 10, ahead of the Broncos, Bengals, and Dolphins, and swing for the fences with Murray. Buffalo gets Washington's 3rd and 5th round picks in the trade. Daniel Jones, QB, Duke. Bleacher Report: Miller, Washington may be without quarterback Alex Smith for the 2019 season, which might end his NFL career given that he's already 34 years old. The time to replace Smith is now, with Daniel Jones on the board. A 3-year starter at Duke, Jones has been coached by an excellent quarterback developer in David Cutcliffe. Among the quarterbacks in this class, he's the most pro-ready, and he has ideal pro traits in size and mechanics. The Senior Bowl game MVP, Jones had an inconsistent week of practice, but NFL scouts maintain he could be the top quarterback in the 2019 class. As Washington rebuilds again, Jones could be the building block Jay Gruden needs. Round 2, Deebo Samuel, WR, South Carolina. Round 3, Dakota Allen, LB, Texas Tech. Round 5, Jay Sternberger, Texas A. Based on Charlie Campbell's reporting in the Senior Bowl rumors page, it sounds like Washington prefers Daniel Jones over the other quarterbacks at this time, but fears that he'll be off the board by no. 15. Daniel Jones has positive arm strength and athleticism, and he could be the second quarterback off the board because of his upside. In fact, Charlie Campbell reported that 3 NFL general managers believe he'll be the first quarterback taken in the 2019 NFL Draft. Some are comparing him to Carson Wentz. Round 2, N'Keal Harry, WR, Arizona State. Washington could finally obtain a potential no. One receiver is a replacement for the disappointing Josh Doctson. A 6'3" wide receiver with a good speed, N'Keal Harry has the potential to become a first-round prospect. However, there are questions about his explosiveness, as sources Charlie Campbell spoke to compared him to Laquan Treadwell or Devin Funchess. Round 3, Garrett Bradbury, NC State. The Redskins have one of the worst centers in the NFL, so that's a position they'll sorely need to upgrade. Garrett Bradbury is an athletic center who used to be a former tight end. Drew Lock, QB, Missouri Newsday. Alex Smith's horrific season-ending injury put some uncertainty into Washington's plans at quarterback. Drew Lock might remind some people of Bills rookie Josh Allen. Both have good size, strong arms and the athleticism to make wow plays, but also struggle with consistency. Editor's note: Newsday incorrectly has the Panthers at Brown, WR, Ole Miss. Walter Football, Campbell. The Redskins need more talent at wide receiver. Here's a great scheme fit for Jay Gruden. In 2018, Brown totaled 85 receptions for 1,320 yards and 7 scores. He notched 75 receptions for 1,252 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2017. Brown had a strong debut in 2016, with 29 receptions for 412 yards with 2 touchdowns. The 6'1", 225-pounder is a quick receiver who is not a burner with rare speed, but he makes up for it with polish and physicality. With good route running and strong, reliable hands, Brown is a chain mover that does the dirty work in the short to intermediate part of the field. Brown is very dangerous with the ball in his hands. He uses his well-built frame to break tackles and is very difficult for a lot of defensive backs to get on the ground. As pro, Brown is going to have to win on contested catches because he won't be a burner that generates huge separation. But he has shown the ability to win 50-50 passes and outfight defensive backs using his thick frame and strength to get the better of them. Round 2, Ryan Finley, QB, NC State. With Alex Smith's future uncertain, here is a young quarterback for Washington to groom. In 2018, Finley completed 67% of his passes for 3,928 yards with 25 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. He was a good game manager for the Wolfpack in 2017, completing 65% of his passes for 3,518 yards with 17 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He made good decisions and protected the football well. In 2016, Finley completed 60% of his passes for 3,055 yards with 18 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Scouts who did advance work for the 2019 NFL Draft were impressed with what they saw from Finley. There is a lot to like about him translating to the NFL. The most important trait for any quarterback is accuracy, which Finley has. Consistently, he demonstrates good ball placement to complete passes and keep the ball away from the defense. Finley, 6'4", 208, makes good decisions and shows impressive ball security. He is adept at avoiding interceptions and rarely makes mistakes from being overly aggressive. Finley improved his deep ball passing as a junior and made some beautiful throws downfield. There are still a few things that Finley could stand to improve. Field vision is an issue for the next level, as he can lock on to his primary read. Finley needs to move his eyes and work through progressions. Finley has enough physical talent to start, but he has some physical limitations that make him more of a second-day quarterback. He is similar to a less athletic version of Alex Smith. Round 3, 12th pick Mike Weber, RB, Ohio State. Adrian Peterson was a brilliant signing by Washington. The Redskins could use running back depth, however, with Peterson entering free agency and Darius Geis coming off a serious injury. Weber averaged 5.5 yards per carry in 2018 for 954 yards with 5 touchdowns. He had 21 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown as well. Ohio State also split the carries among Weber, J.K. Dobbins, and other backs. Weber, 5'10", 214, did some hard running, showing natural talent with quickness and strength. Weber lost a lot of his sophomore year to a hamstring injury in the breakout performance of Dobbins. Weber had an impressive debut in 2016, averaging 6 yards per carry for 1,096 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had 23 receptions for 91 yards as well. Round 3, 32nd pick, Yodny Cajuste, OT, West Virginia. This is an unofficial compensatory pick that sources told me the Redskins would receive. They have a very good offensive line when healthy, but one spot they could use an upgrade is a guard to go with Brandon Scherf. Additionally, Trent Williams is aging. Here's a blocker who Washington could play at tackle or kick inside. In speaking with sources, Cajuste, 6'4", 316, was a preseason projection for NFL teams of being a prospect for the first 4 rounds of the 2019 NFL Draft. Cajuste had an ACL tear in 2016, but he came back to have a strong 2017 season, putting together a good season as the blind side protector for Will Grier. The Miami native Cajuste has good athleticism and a pro build. DK Metcalf, WR, Ole Miss CBS Sports. Fornelli, do you know who Washington's leading receiver was in 2018? It was tight end Jordan Reed. Amongst wideouts it was Josh Doctson, who caught 44 passes for 532 yards. This team is in desperate need of playmakers outside, and Metcalf is a physical freak with the talent of somebody who could be a top receiver in the game at some point. CBS Sports. Wilson, Metcalf is the best wide receiver in this draft and he'd give whomever will be under center for the Redskins a legit downfield playmaker. Of course, taking a quarterback here could be an option, but with 3 already off the board we're not sure we'll see another go in this round. The Draft Network. Marino, if you follow my work, you should know what I think about Metcalf. I believe he has the highest ceiling of any offensive prospect in this year's class and he's an absolute freak. He has been fully medically cleared from his neck injury and all I can really say is, you're welcome, Hogets. Washington needs a true alpha in the passing game and Metcalf has rare traits. He has explosive burst and dominant play strength that make him difficult to cover. He features an outstanding above-the-rim game and a massive wingspan to win at the catch point. He has every trait needed to develop as a route runner and become one of the NFL's premier receivers. Jonah Williams, OT, Alabama NFL.com. Reuter, Washington could play Williams at guard or tackle. Round 2, N'Keal Harry, WR, Arizona State. Harry's speed will be questioned until he runs at the NFL scouting combine. His strong hands will not. Round 3, Deontay Thompson, Alabama. Thompson reminds me of former Alabama safety Ronnie Harrison, who went in the 3rd round to the Jaguars last year. Washington has a need for a thumper in the secondary. Cody Ford, OL, Oklahoma. CBS Sports. White, Washington could very well decide to land their quarterback of the future with this pick, but I think it's more likely they sign an affordable veteran for 2019 and see where they're with Alex Smith next season before potentially diving into the 2020 QB class. Ford would be a massive upgrade at guard for a team that never seems to have enough healthy offensive linemen. Montez Sweat, Mississippi State. NBC. Washington, Standig. Where to begin? We can start with the quarterback uncertainty. If somehow Dwayne Haskins or Kyler Murray remain on the board, look out, though adding a veteran makes more sense with the franchise's overall timeline. The Redskins could consider safety and wide receiver here. Late season events moved inside linebacker into a priority category. Meanwhile, pass rusher Preston Smith is headed to free agency and there's a sense the Redskins aren't making his retention a priority, according to a league source. The 6'6" Sweat rocked the Senior Bowl after ranking among the nation's leaders with 11.5 sacks. Round 2, Chris Lindstrom, Boston College guard isn't a sexy selection, but a necessary choice after Washington went the last 2 seasons with a revolving door on the left side because of injuries and insufficient options. Plenty of safety and wide receiver options available in the middle of round 2 if the Redskins go that way. Byron Murphy, CB, Washington Draft Wire. The trade for Alex Smith cost Washington their top cover man in Kendall Fuller, and they desperately need to fill the void he left behind. Murphy may not have the big frame some look for in a top corner, but his combination of instincts, intelligence and ball skills more than makes up for it. Round 2, Deebo Samuel, WR, South Carolina. Round 3, Will Grier, QB, West Virginia. Draft Tech. Redskins fans have lived through nightmarish times since November 18. Alex Smith went down with an injury that may end his career, leaving the organization on the hook for his remaining $54 million guaranteed for injury. Bruce Allen stayed put and was given a vote of confidence by ownership, and the team struck out on hiring a new defensive coordinator, leaving them in the awkward spot of pretending they always wanted to keep Greg Manuski anyway. Did I mention how awkward that building must be right now? Goodness gracious. Moving forward, the Redskins have limited cap space and no QB. Front office will have to decide if they want to invest in a QB this year or if they want to save draft capital for the QB-rich 2020 draft. For my money, I think the Redskins will stay it. If there is a QB they love that falls to them, I believe they will pull the trigger, but I just don't see that fall happening. When you are a cap-strapped team with as many holes as this team has, you can't give away draft picks for a QB. The Redskins learned the hard way with RGIII, as bogus cap penalties and the loss of draft picks put the organization back years, unable to build around their franchise QB. I believe the focus of the 2019 draft will be on gaining speed on offense and cleaning up the edge and secondary in Washington. Here, the Redskins take Trayvon Mullen, a size-speed prospect that struggled at the end of his collegiate career but can still move into RD1 with a great NFL combine based on his physical prowess. Round 2, Martez Ivy, G, Florida. Clearly, after the Redskins started 14 different players on the offensive line and 10 players at offensive guard in 2018, depth needs to be addressed this offseason, preferably with an above-average starter and a solid backup. In today's NFL, it's clear that the most successful teams, especially in the playoffs, are strong in the middle on both sides of the ball. With a solid young core on the OL, adding a second-round talent at LG like Martez Ivy could create a young, interior strength on the offensive line to match its counterpart on defense. While there isn't a lot to get excited about or build upon when it comes to the Redskins, especially if they don't take a QB in the first 2 rounds in 2019, having young, dominant interior forces on the offensive and defensive lines is an underrated starting point. Round 3, Brett Rypien, QB, Boise State. Round 5, Anthony Ratliff Williams, WR, North Carolina. Round 7, Hugo Amadi, S, Oregon. 7%, 5 votes, 14%, 10 votes, 26%, 19 votes, 5%, 4 votes, 12%, 9 votes, 2%, 2 votes, 12%, 9 votes, 15%, 11 votes, 2%, 2 votes, 0%, 0 votes, 71 votes. Total vote now.